I was packing my suitcase for what I thought would be the best weekend of my life, a cabin trip to the mountains with my son and his family. But just as I zipped up the bag, my 9-year-old granddaughter tugged at my sleeve, her small hand trembling. "Grandpa, please don't go on this trip. I heard something bad about you." I looked into her eyes and saw pure terror, the kind of fear that doesn't come from imagination. It comes from knowing something terrible is about to happen. And what I discovered next shattered everything I thought I knew about my own family. Before I tell you what my granddaughter heard that made her beg me not to go, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from, and what time is it there? I want to know who's awake right now, listening to the moment that saved my life. Friday afternoon, late October. The aspens were golden outside my window in Littleton, Colorado. I was 63 years old, retired after 38 years as a high school history teacher. My wife passed 4 years ago from cancer. Since then, my son Brandon and his wife Nicole had been my anchor, or so I believed. Brandon called me that morning, voice cheerful. "Dad, we're heading up to Estes Park tomorrow. Rented a cabin near Rocky Mountain National Park. Emily's been asking about you all week. You should come." My granddaughter, Emily, 9 years old, bright as sunshine, the reason I kept going after losing Martha. Every Sunday dinner, every birthday, every school play. She was my everything. "Sounds wonderful," I said. "I'll pack tonight." "Great. Nicole's planning a big hike on Sunday. Trail Ridge Road area. She says the views are incredible this time of year." That evening, I was in my bedroom, folding sweaters, when I heard the front door open. Emily's voice called out, "Grandpa, you home?" "In here, sweetheart." She appeared in the doorway, still wearing her soccer uniform from practice. Her mother must have dropped her off on the way to somewhere. But something was wrong. Emily's face was pale. Her hands were fidgeting with the hem of her jersey. "What's the matter?" I asked. She walked in slowly, closed the door behind her. That gesture alone made my heart skip. 9-year-olds don't close doors for private conversations. "Grandpa," she whispered, "please don't go on the trip tomorrow." "Why not? Did something happen?" "I heard Mom talking on the phone last night." Her voice cracked. "She was talking about you, about the hike." I sat down on the bed, patted the space beside me. She climbed up, pressed close to my side. "What did she say, Emily?" she said. Emily's eyes filled with tears. "She said the trail has a dangerous part, a cliff. She said it would look like an accident. She said after Sunday, everything would be easier." My blood went cold. "Emily, are you sure that's what you heard?" She nodded frantically. "She said your name, Grandpa. She said Walter. She said after Walter's gone, the money comes to us. All of it." I couldn't breathe. My daughter-in-law. The woman who made Thanksgiving dinners and remembered my birthday. The woman who called me Dad and hugged me every Sunday. She was planning to kill me. Did she say anything else? Emily wiped her eyes. She said Brandon doesn't know. She said he can't know. She said it has to look natural. My mind raced. Nicole had always been interested in my finances. Questions about my retirement accounts, my life insurance. The house Martha and I had paid off 20 years ago. I thought she was just being practical, helpful, family. I was wrong. I pulled Emily into a hug, held her tight. "Thank you for telling me, sweetheart. You did the right thing." "Are you going to tell Dad?" I thought about it. Brandon adored Nicole. 14 years of marriage. He would never believe me. Not without proof. "Not yet," I said. "I need to figure some things out first." "Are you still going on the trip?" Here's where I made a decision that changed everything. My first instinct was to cancel. Stay home. Stay safe. But then Nicole would know something was wrong. She might try again, differently. I needed to understand what I was dealing with. I needed evidence. "Yes," I said. "I'm still going, but I need you to do something for me." "What?" I pulled out my old flip phone, the one I kept in my nightstand drawer. "This is my backup phone. The number isn't registered to me. If anything happens, if you don't hear from me by Sunday night, I want you to call this number." I programmed it with a contact. It said Uncle Frank. Frank Delgado. My best friend from teaching. Retired police detective. I trusted him with my life. Emily took the phone, stuffed it in her soccer bag. I will, Grandpa. I promise. After she left, I sat alone in my bedroom, trying to process what I'd just learned. Nicole. 14 years of family dinners and Christmas mornings. 14 years of calling me Dad and kissing my cheek. And underneath it all, she was calculating my death. I thought about the signs I'd missed, the questions about my finances that started 6 months ago, the way she'd encouraged me to update my will after Martha died, the new life insurance policy she'd helped me set up, $1.2 million. Beneficiary, Brandon Reed. But if Brandon didn't know about the plan, that meant Nicole expected to control that money through him. I called Frank that night. Walter, everything okay? No, I said. I need your help. And I need you to believe me, even when it sounds crazy. I told him everything. Emily's warning, Nicole's phone conversation, the hike to a dangerous cliff. Frank was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "You're going anyway, aren't you?" "I have to. If I cancel, she'll just try something else. I need to catch her in the act." "That's dangerous as hell, Walter." "I know, but I'm not going in blind. I need you to be my backup." We made a plan. Frank would drive up to Estes Park separately, stay at a motel nearby. I would wear a recording device, an old digital voice recorder, the kind I used to use for lecture notes, small enough to hide in my jacket pocket. If Nicole tried anything, I would have evidence. And if things went wrong, Frank would be 20 minutes away. Saturday morning, Brandon picked me up at 9. His SUV was packed with coolers and hiking gear. Nicole sat in the passenger seat, sunglasses on, smile wide. "Dad, so glad you could make it. The cabin is gorgeous. You're going to love it." I climbed in beside Emily in the back seat. She gave me a look, scared but determined. I squeezed her hand once. "I'm here," that squeeze said. "I'm paying attention." The drive to Estes Park took about 90 minutes. Nicole talked the whole way. The views, the wildlife, the restaurant she'd found for dinner. Brandon laughed at her jokes. Emily stared out the window. I watched Nicole's reflection in the side mirror, trying to see past the mask. The cabin was beautiful. Wood beams, stone fireplace, big windows facing the mountains, 2 bedrooms. Brandon and Nicole took the master. Emily and I shared the second, twin beds on opposite walls. That night, after dinner, I waited until everyone was asleep. Then I crept to the living room and checked Nicole's purse. She'd left it on the kitchen counter. Her phone was password protected. I couldn't get in. But I found something else. A printed map. Trail Ridge Road. One trail was highlighted in yellow. Rock Cut Trail. And at one spot along the trail, she'd drawn a small X in red pen. The cliff. I photographed the map with my phone, put everything back exactly as I'd found it. Then I went back to bed and didn't sleep until dawn. Sunday morning. The day Nicole planned to kill me. We had breakfast at the cabin. Pancakes, bacon, orange juice. Nicole was extra cheerful, extra attentive. "Walter, more coffee? Walter, did you sleep okay? Walter, are you excited for the hike?" Every kindness felt like a knife. We drove to the trailhead around 10. The parking lot was half full. Other families, other hikers. Nicole had picked a popular trail. Smart, more witnesses to see us start. Fewer witnesses at the remote sections. She led the way. Brandon walked beside her. Emily stayed close to me, her small hand finding mine whenever the trail narrowed. The recorder was running in my pocket. Every word captured. We hiked for about an hour. The views were spectacular. Golden aspens, snow-capped peaks, crisp mountain air. Under different circumstances, I would have loved it. Then we reached the overlook. Nicole stopped, spread her arms wide. "Isn't this incredible? Come look, Walter. You can see for miles." The viewing area was a flat rock outcropping. Beyond it, a sheer drop, maybe 300 feet to the rocks below. No guardrail, just a warning sign about staying back from the edge. I walked toward the overlook slowly. Nicole positioned herself beside me. "Brandon, take a picture," she called. "Me and your dad with the mountains behind us." Brandon pulled out his phone. Emily hung back, watching. Nicole put her arm around my waist, smiled for the camera. Her other hand rested on my back. I felt her fingers tighten on my jacket. "Move closer to the edge," she said quietly. "Better angle." "I'm fine here," I said. "These old legs don't like heights." Her grip tightened more. "Just a little closer, Dad." And then I felt it, the slight shift in her weight, the way her hand moved from my waist to my shoulder. She was positioning herself, getting ready to push. I stepped sideways, fast. Her hand grabbed air. "Walter?" She looked startled. "What's wrong?" I backed away from the edge, heart pounding. "Nothing. Just got a little dizzy. Maybe we should head back." Her eyes narrowed. Just for a second. Then the mask came back. "Of course. Let's take a break first. Sit down. Catch your breath." We sat on a boulder, away from the edge. Nicole's phone buzzed. She checked it, frowned. "I need to use the restroom," she said. "Brandon, can you wait with your dad? I'll be right back." She walked toward the trail junction where the portable toilets were. I watched her go. Then I turned to Brandon. "Son, I need to tell you something." Brandon looked up from his phone. "What's up, Dad?" I took a breath. "This is going to sound impossible, but I need you to listen. Really listen." His brow furrowed. "Okay," I told him. "Everything. Emily's warning, the phone conversation, the map with the red X. The way Nicole had tried to position me at the cliff edge." Brandon's face went through stages. Confusion, disbelief, anger. "Dad, that's insane. Nicole would never. She loves you. She loves our family." "I know it sounds crazy, but Emily heard her. Brandon, your 9-year-old daughter heard your wife planning my death. Emily's a kid. She misunderstands things." I pulled out my phone, showed him the photo of the map. "Look at this. I found it in Nicole's purse last night. Rock-cut trail. The X marks exactly where we're standing right now." Brandon stared at the photo. His face went pale. "And I have this." I pulled out the recorder. Every word from today, including Nicole telling me to move closer to the edge, including the moment she grabbed my jacket. He looked at me, looked at the recorder, looked at Emily, who was sitting 10 feet away, watching us with frightened eyes. "Dad," his voice broke. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying your wife tried to push me off a cliff 5 minutes ago. And if Emily hadn't warned me, I would have walked right into it." Brandon put his head in his hands. I watched my son crumble, the man who had trusted his wife completely, the man who had no idea he'd been living with a monster. Nicole came back from the restroom, saw us sitting there. Her smile faltered. "Everything okay?" Brandon stood up. His voice was flat. "We're going back to the cabin. Now. But we just got here. We haven't even... Now." "Nicole." Something in his tone made her stop arguing. The drive back was silent. Nicole kept glancing at Brandon, at me, trying to read the room. Emily sat, pressed against my side, trembling. At the cabin, Brandon told Emily to wait in the bedroom. Then he turned to Nicole. "We need to talk." He played the recording, all of it, including her words at the cliff. Nicole's face went through its own stages. Shock, denial. Then something cold settled in her eyes. "That doesn't prove anything," she said. "I was just trying to get a good photo." Brandon pulled out my phone, showed her the map, then explained this, the red X, right where you told Dad to stand. Long silence. Then Nicole laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "You want to know the truth? Fine. I'm tired of pretending anyway." She sat down on the couch like she was settling in for a long conversation. Brandon remained standing. I stayed by the door. "Do you know what it's like?" she said. "Being married to a man who makes $53,000 a year? Who will never make more? Who thinks a good vacation is camping in Kansas?" Brandon flinched. "Nicole, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the life I was supposed to have." She stood up, voice rising. "I married you because I thought you had potential. Your father was a teacher, sure, but he owned a house, had savings, a life insurance policy worth $1.2 million. I thought when he died, we'd finally have something, a real life, a real future." She pointed at me. "But he just keeps living. 4 years since Martha died, and he's still here, healthy as a horse. How long was I supposed to wait? Brandon's voice was hoarse. You were going to murder my father. For money. I was going to set us free. She laughed again. Don't pretend you haven't thought about it. The inheritance. What we could do with it. The house we could buy. The vacations. Emily's college fund. I never wanted him dead. Well, I did. Her voice went cold. And I still do. She lunged. Not at me. At Brandon. Her hand grabbed a lamp from the side table and swung. Brandon ducked. The lamp shattered against the wall. Nicole screamed and swung again. I moved without thinking. 63 years old, bad knee, but I tackled her from the side. We went down hard. The lamp base flew from her hand. Brandon grabbed her wrists, pinned her down. Call the police, he said, voice shaking. Dad, call 911. I pulled out my phone and dialed. Nicole thrashed beneath Brandon's weight. This isn't over. You think you've won? I'll tell them you attacked me. I'll tell them I was defending myself. The recording, I said quietly. Every word. Including your confession just now. She went still. Her eyes found mine. Pure hatred. You ruined everything, she spat. You worthless old man. Why couldn't you just die? The police arrived 20 minutes later. 2 officers from the Estes Park Police Department. They listened to the recording. The whole thing. Nicole's confession. Her admission that she wanted me dead. Her attack on Brandon. They handcuffed her right there in the cabin. As they led her out, Nicole looked back at Brandon one last time. I hope you know you're destroying Emily's life, she said, taking her mother away. Brandon's voice was quiet but firm. You did that yourself, Nicole. The moment you decided my father's life was worth less than money, they took her away. Brandon sat down on the couch and cried. I held my son while he sobbed. 63 years old, holding my 40-year-old son like he was a child again. Emily came out of the bedroom. She'd heard everything. Grandpa? Is Mom going away? I pulled her into the hug. Yes, sweetheart. For a long time. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said softly, Good. That word broke something in me. A 9-year-old girl, relieved that her mother was going to prison, because that mother had tried to kill her grandfather. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The prosecution had everything. The recording of Nicole's confession. The map with the red X. Bank records showing she'd researched my life insurance policy 6 months before the trip. Text messages to a number we later learned belonged to an old boyfriend. Messages discussing how to make a death look accidental, how to position someone near a cliff edge, how to time a push so no one would see. That boyfriend testified against her. Plea deal. He'd helped her plan it, given her advice based on crime documentaries he'd watched. He got 5 years. Nicole got 25. Attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, assault with a deadly weapon. The day of sentencing, Nicole looked at me from across the courtroom. No mask now, just rage. You took everything from me, she said. No, I replied. You threw everything away. I just refused to die for your convenience. The first year after the trial was the hardest. Brandon filed for divorce immediately, got full custody of Emily. The court terminated Nicole's parental rights. Attempted murder of a family member does that. Brandon sold the house he'd shared with Nicole. Too many memories. He and Emily moved into my spare bedroom while they figured out next steps. For 3 months, we were roommates. My son and granddaughter under my roof. It should have been awkward. Instead, it was healing. We cooked dinner together every night. Emily did her homework at my kitchen table. Brandon started therapy, working through the betrayal. I went too. Survivor's guilt is real, even when you survive. Emily had nightmares for a while. She'd wake up crying, saying she heard her mom's voice, saying she was scared of cliffs, of mountains, of high places. We got her a therapist too. Dr. Rebecca Chen, specialist in childhood trauma. Twice a week for the first year, then weekly, then monthly. She's 12 now, taller, quieter, but stronger. Last month, she told me she wants to be a detective when she grows up. Why a detective? I asked. Because someone has to catch the bad people, she said. Even when they're pretending to be good. I hugged her so tight. Brandon eventually remarried. A woman named Susan, a pediatric nurse he met at Emily's school fundraiser. Kind, genuine, with no interest in my finances. She calls me Walter, not Dad. I prefer it that way. The inheritance question never came up again. I updated my will, split everything between Brandon and Emily directly. No conditions, no complications, just love, transferred into legal language. I'm 67 now, still living in Littleton, still teaching, sort of. I volunteer at the local community college, helping adults get their GEDs. Retired folks like me who want to feel useful. Frank Delgado comes over for poker every Thursday. We never talk about that weekend in Estes Park. We don't need to. He knows what he did for me. I know what I owe him. Emily visits every Sunday. She's in 7th grade now. Straight A's. Soccer team captain. A kid who refuses to let her mother's betrayal define her. Last week, she asked me something unexpected. Grandpa, do you ever think about visiting Mom in prison? I considered the question carefully. Emily deserved an honest answer. No, I said. Not because I hate her, but because some people don't deserve space in our lives, even to say goodbye. She nodded slowly. That's what my therapist says. That forgiveness doesn't mean letting people back in. It means letting them go. Smart woman, your therapist. She smiled. I learned from the best, Grandpa. Here's what I want you to understand, whoever's listening to this story. I spent 14 years trusting someone who saw me as an obstacle, a walking life insurance policy, an inconvenience standing between her and the life she thought she deserved. I missed the signs, the financial questions, the subtle pushing, the way she isolated Brandon from his own instincts. I told myself it was normal, that daughters-in-law were supposed to be interested in family matters, that her attention to my affairs was just being practical. It wasn't practical. It was predatory. But here's the thing that saved me. My granddaughter, a 9-year-old girl who trusted what she heard more than what she was supposed to believe. Emily could have stayed quiet, could have told herself she misunderstood, could have been too scared to speak up. Instead, she warned me, and that warning saved my life. The lesson I took from this, the one I share with every student at the community college, is simple. Trust the people who trust their instincts. Listen to the quiet voices, the children who notice things, the friends who seem worried, the family members who ask uncomfortable questions. They might see what you're too close to see. Nicole fooled me for 14 years, but she couldn't fool Emily for 14 seconds, because children haven't learned to ignore their gut feelings yet. They haven't been trained to explain away the things that don't make sense. If someone in your life is warning you about someone else, listen. Really listen. Not just to their words, but to their fear. That fear might be the only thing standing between you and a cliff edge. I'm not telling you this story to scare you. I'm telling it to wake you up. Check your relationships. Notice who asks about your money, your health, your plans. Notice who benefits if something happens to you. Notice who dismisses your concerns and who takes them seriously. The people who love you will show it through actions, not just words. And the people who don't, no matter how well they pretend, will eventually reveal themselves. I got lucky. I had Emily. I had Frank. I had a second chance. Not everyone gets that chance. So pay attention before the chance becomes necessary. This is the story I'll tell Emily's children someday. Not to scare them, but to remind them. Trust your instincts. Speak up when something feels wrong. And never, ever let anyone push you toward a cliff, literal or otherwise. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Subscribe to Maple Vengeance for more stories like this. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it with them. You never know whose life might need this warning. Stay safe out there, friends. And remember, the people who truly love you will never see you as collateral damage. They'll see you as irreplaceable. Because you are.